Hi guys and welcome to NFT United. In today's video I'm going to show you the tools I use on Soraredata to try and find undervalued and out of form players. So on Soraredata, go on Scout and then Player Finder like so. I want the playing status to either be starter or substitute. I only want players coming in under the age of 30. That's just my preference. So my last five, I'm looking for players who have performed badly in their last 5 games. So I don't want their average being over. I'm going to set this to 42. Now, you obviously play around with it and put the figures that you want, but this is what I sort of use. These figures, in the last 15, I want them to be hitting a minimum of 50. And again, it's your preference on how you want to use it, whether you take into account the last 40. For this example, I'm going to do it to 50 as well. So as you can see, it has brought back 18 players in total. Obviously, if you adjust the figures, the minimum scores, the maximum is going to bring in either less or more players, but that's down to you on what you're comfortable with. So what I am looking at is basically as many greens in the last 15 and last 40 with the highest scores possible, because that should reflect, because they're in poor form in the last 5 games, their prices should drop or should have dropped from their all-time high when they were hitting these 57s. I'm going to use Gregory Wuthrich as an example. So if I click into him, you can see in his last 5 games, he's not been hitting the scores he was previously. And there was also a DNP, and he scored 28 in that game. So, arguably, he's not in the best of form, or certainly not anywhere near the form that he was showing previously. And like I said, if you bring the price graph up for the 6 months, you can see maybe not as much as I thought originally, but his price from his all-time high, which was around 50 quid, he is now about 32 quid. Now, there are obviously no guarantees, but my reasoning behind this now is obviously players have dropped in price, European players, is if he starts the season hitting his last 15 and 40 averages of 50 or more, then his price should go up, and there's some good money to be made. Again, I'm going to use Philip Kostic on this example. As you can see on his scores, he's not hitting what he was consistently earlier on in the season, and his price will reflect that. If you're at the 6-month graph, you can see he was going for about 150, 160 quid. And that was only in mid-February. So he is now, his last sale was 60 quid. So again, my thinking and reasoning behind this, if I was to buy that player today, if he was to start the season in August and start hitting what he was doing in his last 15 and last 40 averages, then you're going to make some good money on that. The last example I will show you is this guy, Kerem Demirabe. He hasn't played in the last 3 games or the last few games of the season, but prior to that he wasn't hitting the scores that he was earlier on in the season. And again, if you look at his 6-month price graph, he has dropped considerably. You know, you're averaging back in February about 50 odd quid, and his last one was sold for about 14 quid. So there's 300 odd percent to be made if he was ever to reach that back, that price of 50 odd quid. Now, there's obviously other factors to take into account before just buying these players, research them, make sure, you know, they're going to be starting, they're not going to get a move, for example. So you need to do further research. However, I'm confident if you do your research, thorough research that is, and these players rediscover their form of their last 15 and last 40 average, then there's easy money to be made. That's how I do it, guys. Obviously, it's your money, your investment. You play the game how you want to. I'm just trying to show you what I've done, especially since Sorare has updated their systems, because it's far easier now to identify these sort of players. So I think you need to take advantage of Soraredata while it's still free, because it's a fantastic tool. So whatever you decide, guys, I hope you find this video useful. Leave any comments in the comments below, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers.